Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back. Thanks so much for stopping by. Today we're going to talk more holiday beauty, holiday makeup, and this is going to be kind of a part two to the first Too Faced video that I put up on the, I think it was called Unbearably Glam set, and this is the Foxy Neutrals set. So I did pick this one up after all. It came back into stock, and I mean, I knew I had to have this set. So you might be eyeing this set yourself, maybe wondering if it is right for you. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to go through swatches, a demo. We're going to talk about my experience with this eyeshadow palette, with this set as a whole. And that way, maybe it'll help you make a decision as to whether or not it's right for you. So on that note, let's just go ahead and jump right into this. So first off, the packaging, so cute. I thought I loved the Unbearably Glam set, which I do love it. I think this one, I love it even more. This one is just so pretty. Something about the Too Faced packaging this year just sucked me right in. I have been so happy with it. So this is the pretty box it comes in. It's very detailed. It's got like sparkle on the bow and on the crown. It's just, I don't know, very pretty. There's a lot of detail to it, which I love. And on the back, you simply have the layout, the photo of the products, and that is pretty much it. For reference, this has so there's different shelf lives. Let's see, the mascara is a 6-month shelf life because it does come with a little mini mascara, which mascaras typically do run a shorter lifespan. And then the eyeshadow palette is a 12-month shelf life, which is typically the case for powder products when it comes to Too Faced. I do find that luxury brands like Natasha Denona tend to run a 24-month shelf life. If that is of any interest, just overall, I don't even look at shelf life. I just keep mine until I don't want to anymore. So, which is usually 12 years or whatever. Anyways, so yeah, this is made in the USA, which I have found to be typical as of late for Too Faced. And then the eyeshadow palette contains 12 pans of product, net weight 0.9 grams, 0.03 ounces for a total of 10.8 grams and 0.36 ounces. As far as the blush highlighter duo, it has, let's see, both of them are the same size, 3 grams, 0.105 ounces. So that's what we've got going on there. Let's move into the actual products themselves. Let's start with the eyeshadow palette. Just as lovely as the box we just looked at. This is so pretty. I just feel like they pair very well, the blue one and this one. They're like so opposite, but yet so eye-catching. Just really good job. I'm excited to see what the Ulta ones are gonna look like. I have not seen them come to the store or the website yet, but I'm interested to know. Anyways, because I think those are smaller, but they have different animals like a swan and anyways, so that's that. Open it up like this. It does fold all the way back. There is no mirror on the cover, just like the bare version. And this is what we've got going on here. So obviously, Foxy Neutrals, the title alone tells you this is the neutral of the two. The one that we went over a few days ago, that one is more the icy tone. It's got that blue shade, very different. So this is typically the one that I would it would be my second choice because I like pops of color over neutrals, but I do love me a good neutral palette if it's something that really works well for me. So we'll obviously get into that later, but this is what this bad boy looks like. It has 1 glitter, unlike the Unbearably Glam that had 3 glitters. And those 3 glitters were the identical ones to the Pretty Rich palette, in case you have not seen that or did not know. So it does come with 1 glitter. Aside from that, they're primarily mattes in this palette is what I have found, and there are a couple of satins. So this is a more on the matte side. And then, like I said, you've got the little sprinkling of standout finishes to add to that. So let's go ahead and jump into swatches, and that way we can go into putting this on my eye, and then we will go into final thoughts from there. Let me grab this and I'll be right back. For the first 4, we have Better Not Pout, Claws Out, like C-L-A-U-S. They always put a spin on different things for the holiday season. Oh What Fun, and Last Christmas. a little chunky. I'm finding that lately with Too Faced formulas, when I swatch them, they're a little chunky, not chunky, but like they're so soft that it ends up getting clumpy when I swatch. Definitely not anything negative towards the quality of the eyeshadow or anything like that, but if you're wondering why I keep on blowing on my hand, that is the reason. So definitely neutrals here. Let me grab the next 4. So here we've got Lady Bells, Ginger Snatched, Elfed Up, and Jingle Jangle. This is the glitter right there. Lastly, we have got Cookie Butter, Chimney, Drummer Girl, and Lump of Coal. Sorry, the black is a little out of place. I ran out of room over here, so that's why it's over here. So obviously very opaque for one swipe. Definitely a lot of pigment there. It is what I used in the demo that you're gonna see on my lash line as my liner, and it is very, very pigmented. It goes on very nicely as a liner. So that's what we've got going on in this palette. Real quick, before we go into the face palette, I just wanted to give you a side-by-side because the salted caramel also comes with an orange, but I want to show you what the difference in those tones are in case you are wondering, you know, oh, are they the same kind of orange? Because I will tell you that this orange is my favorite shade in this eyeshadow palette, and it is incredibly pigmented. Now, this one does have some sparkle within, and then the one in this palette is straight up matte. But I want you to see the difference in tones, and I'm going to swatch them side by side just so that you have an idea. So they are different in that the salted caramel is deeper. The one in this palette is a bit brighter. So, I mean, obviously orange, I mean, we can think orange is orange, but when you put them side by side, truly they are different. And I think they are beautiful each in their own right. So I wanted to do that before I forget because I'm known for forgetting. So that is that. All right, let's go ahead and go into the face palette real quick, and then we will go into the demo. So here's what we've got going on here. This one is, I thought it was going to be like a peachier version than the one in the Unbearably Glam. And this one's actually, I find to be more of like a baby pink, at least the way it goes on my skin tone. And then it's got a highlight as well. So let's give you swatches of these. And if you're curious to see what the swatches for the other set look like, that video has that as well, very in depth, so that you know what you're getting in that set. But see how baby pink that looks on my skin tone, and that's because I dug pretty hard in there. I don't typically go very, very hard into a pan of product, but for this one I did so that you could at least get a little bit of an idea of the color. But that's what that one looks like there. So let's go ahead now and go into the demo so that we can put this eyeshadow and face products on me together. I was gonna say on my eyes, but no, there's also face. Let's put this on my eyes and face together. And that way you have an idea of how, like, what the building up is like, what the pigmentation, the ease, the difficulty, whatever the case may be. And that way, you know, hopefully it gives you an idea of how it would work for you. So let's go ahead and get into that right now. Starting with the shade Elfed Up and a blending brush, I'm going to take plenty of this on the brush and start working this into the crease area. This is a very non-traditional holiday shade, but something about it just sparks my creativity. It's such a beautiful shade, and it builds very nicely. I have started taking out my crease shade a little bit upwards, I guess. Nothing new. I'm just kind of following what others have done, but I like how it looks. Going in with the shade Ginger Snatched on a different brush. I'm just going into the crease, but a little bit lower. These two pair really, really well. And again, the pigmentation is incredible. You don't need a whole lot to get a good amount of payoff. So I'm going back in with that elfed up shade just because I didn't want to lose that when I put the ginger shade, and I want it to peek through. Just going in with some of my Fenty Pro Filter Eye Primer. I always use this, I know, same old story, different video, same story. And now I'm going to put some on a brush so I can get up into the higher areas of my lid, up into my crease. And now I'm going to go in with the shade Claws Out. This is a beautiful pink shade. It's kind of a mix between a satin and a metallic. I wouldn't say it's full on metallic, so I don't know, I figure it's kind of a hybrid between the two, but it is still so pretty. It's very feminine, just really girly, dainty. I don't know, something about it just kind of lifts my skin tone. Going in with a little bit more Fenty eye primer on the innermost portion of the lid because this is where I am going to place the glitter. Going in with the shade Lady Bells, which is the glitter, and I'm going in with a brush, which I don't typically do. This glitter picks up very nicely on a brush, which is very surprising, but a brush is best in what I'm doing right now because I can't get all up into my little corner area with my finger. So lays down really, really nicely. Going back into the shade Ginger Snatched with a smaller, more detailed blending brush. This is a Jaclyn Hill Morphe brush. I don't remember what it's called. But going in just to the outermost portion of the lid, almost to kind of connect where I put that initial crease shade to kind of form a little bit of a V and blend that up a little bit. Next, going back in with the shade Claws Out. And I'm just kind of placing this down where I had placed the glitter, just kind of where those two shades meet. Again, just so that they're more blended and seamless. Going in with Lump of Coal and a liner brush. This, you guys, is a very deep and pigmented shade. So I'm a little afraid of black shadows because for me they can go south real fast, but it turned out lovely. And then Better Not Pout, just taking this on a little detailer brush. And I'm going to go in and put this in my inner corner. I don't typically go in with these types of shades, but for purpose of the video, I put this in my inner corner and my brow bone. Just putting some lash glue directly on my lid. I typically do this when I'm in a hurry, and it works so nicely because I don't have to wait for the glue to dry on the lash. It just instantly sticks on the lid. And I had seen a few people do that on YouTube some time back, and I have done that and not looked back. Going in with the face palette, going to go in with some of the blush and place this on my cheeks. Now this is going to take quite a bit of building up. It's a very baby pink shade, and I'm just not a huge fan, but I'm typically not a huge fan of Too Faced holiday face products or face palettes. So going in with the highlighter and a highlighter brush, just going to place this at the high points of my cheeks, my nose, down the bridge of my nose, my chin. You guys know the drill. And same thing, their highlighters as far as holiday are never my favorite because they sit on top of my skin, although I will say this one did a better job than the last one, than the Unbearably Glam. This one didn't sit on top of my skin as much, but still. Now I'm going in with a lip liner. This is a Kylie Cosmetics lip liner. I think it's Do You Boo, I think. It's the one that pairs with the same lip blush. And now just going in with a Marc Jacobs lippy. Oh, I can't remember the name of this one. Mocha Chocolata, I think. I always think of Moulin Rouge. And this is the final look, you guys. I was very happy with it. I hope you enjoyed. All right, my friends, well, that brings us to the end of that segment. I hope you found it helpful. I always do. Hopefully that little tidbit, that little extra add-on to the video helps you know whether you would like the formula or not. So now let's go into thoughts. It's time to talk about this bad boy. I'm not going to go too much into packaging because, again, just like with the Unbearably Glam, I think I talked it to death at the start of the video, and this would be no different. I love the packaging to this. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I love it. I love it. I see myself using this for a very long time. I find myself reaching for it. Usually, if something is extra pretty with packaging, like I tend to reach for it. It's all with the aesthetic, I guess. I don't know. I don't think I told y'all how much these are. They're $36 each, but if you bundle the two, which the Unbearably Glam and the Foxy Neutrals, you get it for $59 instead of $72, which saves you about 13 bucks. And that was, or I picked it up on the Sephora website. So let's talk about the mattes. It's what's the majority in this palette is mattes. And so I found the mattes to be very pigmented, easy to work with. Like I find myself kind of thinking like, I feel like there's something I need to tell you different from what I've been telling you over the past couple of Too Faced videos, and I don't have anything different to tell you about these mattes in this palette. They perform very nicely. A couple of them are a little bit drier to the touch, but that's something to be expected, and they go on so nicely. They build very well. They're pigmented. There's no frustration in working with these shades. I hate to tell you, if you were hoping I'd hate it, I don't. This Elfed Up shade is so pretty. It is not the type of shade you would expect in a holiday palette, but then again, from what we've seen from Too Faced for a couple of different releases, like Pumpkin Spice, for example, there's not a whole lot of holiday shades. Like it's not what you would expect, but yet it kind of challenges your creativity to come up with something holiday using those types of shades. And I find this to be the case as well. It's a pinky coral shade, which you would totally identify with summer and spring, but once you start pairing it like with the orange and stuff, it just morphs into a beautiful, fresh yet fall type of look. I love that they did that. I'm not a creative person, but I find that these types of shades paired with what I would typically think about fall just really challenges my creativity and makes me want to do a little extra something something, you know what I mean? So, and then as far as the other regular neutral shades, perform just fine. It's what you would expect in a neutral shade. It's really what you would what you've come to expect from a Too Faced eyeshadow, and a Too Faced eyeshadow, let's just say in those tin eyeshadow palettes. These perform just as well. As far as the glitter, I like this glitter very much. It is that suspended in gel formula kind of thing where you really don't need a base. I do like to use a base regardless. One thing I failed to tell you guys in the Unbearably Glam review that I do need to tell you now, I don't know why it slipped my mind at that point, but the glitter in this palette and the glitter in that palette, it tends to go into my contact lenses, into my eyes, and I don't know why it travels. I typically don't have that issue with glitters. The last couple of times I have used the Fenty Pro Filter Eye Primer, but I'm finding even with a glitter glue, these tend to travel into my eye. And again, it's been a very long time since I've had that happen. Just be aware if you wear contacts that it might be a little bit uncomfortable because it does, you know, tend to go a little bit more all over the place. That's okay though. For me, beauty is pain and I love glitter on my eyes, so I still put it on my eyes. That is that. But it is a beautiful gold shade and it works very well. I have found, because sometimes with glitters, when they're in a pan, it's hard to pick them up on a brush. This one, if I apply a little bit more pressure, I do get a very good amount of product on my brush, which I love because then it's easier to apply than with my fingers. Sometimes my fingers are so stubby that sometimes it's really hard to get into the little crevices that I want to get into. And so I was very happy to find out that a brush picks up the product just fine. As far as the metallics, these two right here, they are beautiful. They perform what I have been coming to expect of Too Faced for the last several releases. I very much like the metallic type of, it's almost like a satin metallic. I don't find them to be full on metallic, but they do have a very intense, almost metallic type of finish, and I very much like it. Like I've told y'all in the past, and like you saw in the demo, the Fenty Pro Filter Eye Primer is the best way to bring out the best in these types of shades. These were no different. I love how they apply on top of that primer. I basically any type of shade of this finish, if I don't use that primer, I don't get them to their full potential. They almost start looking a little bit more dull to me, but again, I think it's because I've been using that primer for so long. Anyways, all in all, I love this palette. I almost kind of wish I had something different to tell you because I'm starting to sound like a broken record with these. I have been so happy with Too Faced's last, like 5 releases. The 2 holiday palettes or sets, the Mariale palette, the Salted Caramel palette, what else? I feel like I've done one more. Maybe not. Oh, pumpkin spice. I have been very, very impressed with the consistency of their formula. The fact that it's not like, oh, these are good and all of a sudden we have a dud and now this one's okay. And then no, like I've been happy with the last 5 in a row, no exception. So glad that I picked this up. If you are into holiday beauty, if this kind of whole season as it relates to makeup excites you, I definitely think you need to pick this one up. From the packaging all the way to the product inside, it is definitely awesome. Let's go into the little face product right here. I'm basically gonna sound like a broken record when I tell you the same thing I told you in the Unbearably Glam video, is that these types of products, when Too Faced puts them in their little sets, these are a dud for me. I probably won't end up using this again. The blush is not, it's okay. It takes a lot of building on my part, and I have a light to light medium skin tone. So, you know, you saw the swatch on a deeper skin tone, you would know whether you could make it work or not. But honestly, I wasn't too impressed. I find that their highlighters in these sets are usually very, quite intense, the kind of finish I like. The only thing is I don't like the formula that sits on top of my skin, and these always do. It was the same with Unbearably Glam, the same thing with their set, I think last year, the year before. Anytime they release these face products within their holiday sets, I'm never a fan. I don't like highlighter sitting on top of my skin. I like the look of it kind of having melted into my skin, but still giving me the blinding glow. And so this was kind of meh for me, but that's okay because I bought this with the intent of focusing on the eyeshadow palette. So for me, it was worth it. As mentioned, it comes with a little mini eyeshadow mascara as well, and so just know that in case that is of interest to you. So that, I feel like was a very long-winded way to say I love this set. Just like the Unbearably Glam, I am so glad I bought them both. They will get used in my collection. It's not something I don't think that I'm going to kind of just desert in my collection and it's not going to get pulled. I really do see myself reaching for both of these types of both of these sets, and I am really, really glad I picked it up. And I think $36 is a pretty decent price point if you want to just pick up one. And then of course, if you want to pick up both, then it is $59, which is typical. That's typical pricing for their annual Sephora sets. So my friends, on this note, we are going to conclude this video. If you enjoyed it, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. It really does help me out, and I just want to remind you of that because I know I watch a lot of videos and I always forget to do the thumbs up, even if I really liked the video. So it does help me out, and I would just ask that you click on that little like button. And of course, if you are new, that you would subscribe, because I truly would love to see you again here on this channel. It really would make my day. I love having y'all as part of this YouTube family. It means so much. Before I let you go, a very quick verse of the day, just in an effort to tell you that Jesus loves you so very much. So today's comes from Ephesians 1:7, and it says, "In Jesus we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins in accordance with the riches of God's grace." That's a beautiful, beautiful verse because it speaks of the ultimate sacrifice that Christ came to make for each one of us. And more than makeup, I love to talk about Christ because he is the very reason for my existence. And it is my prayer that if you don't already know him as your Savior and your very best friend, that you would come to know him and the peace and the love that only he can give. It's a very simple prayer. I'm not trying to force it on you. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It's an invitation, an open invitation for you to come to know him. It is a very simple prayer, just asking for forgiveness of sins and asking him into your heart. He's so amazing, and I don't think I could stress that enough. In addition to that, I hope you find kindness in your heart to be kind to other people on a daily basis, to just change your world, change the world around you by being kind to others. In a world where it is very easy to complain and to be ugly to each other, kindness is so key, and it goes such a long way. All right, friends, until the next time, which I'm sure will be another eyeshadow palette. And stay safe, guys. Stay well. I love each and every one of you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care. Bye.